Hi everyone, I'm back with another video. Today we are making my button-up bodice pattern. I shot this content a while back with my copy pattern that you also see here in this video. This top is tight-fitting on the upper half of the tassel and frayed slightly at the hip to emphasize your hourglass shape. You can find the patterns for both top and the capris linked below in the description. If you are new to my channel, my name is June and I make patterns that you can download and sew at home. I made a few more samples to share with you guys. Here is my top with a ruffle lace neckline. This ruffle neckline gives the top a more layered and playful look. Here is another sample in white with a clean neckline. It's a little hard to see in the video, but on the neckline, I also stitched a cute embroidered pattern with my new sewing machine to add detail to the neckline. Okay, let's get started with the materials. For my main fabrics, I'm using a medium weight woven cotton fabrics with this cute polka dot pattern. Woven fabrics with little to no stretch are recommended for this pattern. You will need 1 meter of main fabric. For my lining fabrics, I'm using a lightweight woven cotton fabrics in blue. You can also use the main fabrics for the lining, but in this video, I use a different fabric so that you guys can follow along easier. I also have lightweight visible interfacing here. I use interfacing for the main fabrics. I use white interfacing, but if you can, try finding interfacing that matches your main fabrics. And I also got some cute little buttons. I'm making XXS size, and I will need 10 buttons for my size. Review your instruction booklet in the pattern for the amount of material you will need for your size. And this is my pattern. You can find the link to the pattern in the description below. For the first stitch, we'll be attaching the cup pieces. With the right sides facing each other, stitch the cup pieces together to connect the upper bust and the lower bust pieces. Do this for both the main fabric and the lining. Note that in this video, I am only showing this step once for the main fabric since it's the same step. Afterwards, iron the seam open and then on the right side of the fabric, top stitch the seam. Next, stitch the front and the front size panel pieces together. Complete this step for the lining as well. I'm going to stitch the back and the back side panel pieces together now. Again, don't forget to do this for the lining as well. Stitch the bust piece to the front bodice piece. Since stitching the curve can be challenging, I recommend pinning the pieces together first around the curve. If you are a beginner, I also recommend to hand sew first in order to piece stitch the pieces. Complete this step for the lining as well. With the right sides of the top facing each other, stitch the straps together. Complete this step for the lining as well. Fold the button placket piece in half and stitch both ends. Afterward, flip the piece right side out. Here we are stitching the button placket onto the center front bodice on the left side. I will leave a 1 cm seam allowance from the top and the bottom of the bodice. With the right sides of the lining fabrics and the main fabric facing each other, stitch the neckline seam. Complete this step for both sides of the neckline. After, cut into the neckline corner up until the stitching to release tension. Afterwards, I'm going to understitch the neckline to lock the lining seam inside. Now, I'm going to trim the strap lining seam by 2 to 3 mm to prevent it from sticking out. Afterwards, stitch the armhole seam to connect the main fabrics and the lining fabrics. Now, flip the garment through the strap so the fabric is right side out. Passing the garment through the strap might be challenging, so take your time. If you think passing the garment through the small strap may be too challenging for you, you can leave the armhole seam open and finish it with bias tape at the end. After flipping the garment, I recommend ironing the strap down flat. For the next step, with the right size of the main fabric and the lining facing each other, stitch the center seam of both bodice pieces. Okay, things are coming along nicely. We are halfway done now. Next, stitch the front sides and the back side pieces together. Do this for both the main fabric and lining. Repeat this for the other half of the garment as well. Now, we are going to stitch the center back pieces together. With the right size of the main fabric and lining facing each other, stitch the bottom seam of the bodice. Leave an opening on a center back piece in order to pull the garment out. On both sides of that opening, I recommend double stitching so that the stitching doesn't break in the next step when you flip the garment out. Now, let's pull the garment through the opening so that the fabrics are right side out. Now let's iron the bottom seam, and afterwards we will finish stitching the opening by hand. Now I'm hand stitching the seam opening. Using a heat erasable pen, trace a line 1 inch away from the center front seam where the buttonhole will be. Afterwards, top stitch the line. And then mark the button and the corresponding buttonholes with the fabric pen. Use the pattern to help guide your button placement. Now let's stitch the buttonholes. Many consumer sewing machines have a buttonhole setting, which is what I used. And for our last step, I'm going to hand stitch the button on. And that's all for this pattern. I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial and that you like your new top. If you enjoyed this pattern, please leave me a review on Etsy. It will help my shop out so much. If you post your top on social media, please tag my page. I love seeing what you guys are making. Thanks and see you in the next one.